I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Beans, and welcome to Screen Snark, a podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Corky Schenk.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Yay! We're here. It's cold. It's so cold.
It is. It's winter in New York, which means it sucks. And everything's
I hate
sad.
the cold. I hope everyone who loves the cold is very, very happy, but I want them to know that I'm very sad.
Yeah, as an adult, like when it snows now, I just curse and yell and shake my fist at the sky. When I was a kid, it's like, yay, for sure. Snow day.
Yeah, because you could get a snow day. But like here in New York, we have public transit and it works all the time. And it's just like, nah, you're good. You can make it. The train's underground. Suck it up.
Yeah. But enough about our bitching about the weather in New York.
Yeah.
There are other podcasts for that,
The sun set at
I'm sure.
4:28 today.
I know.
4:28.
So early.
That's so early. Every time I forget. It makes me super sad. But you know what doesn't make me sad?
What's that?
Our guest that we have today. Just an incredible musician, performer, just this bundle of light and joy incarnate. I truly cannot believe that we finally nailed down the opportunity to hang with my buddy and soon to be your buddy, Tyler Appel. Tyler, welcome to Screen Snark.
Thank you so much. Hey, Screen Beans. Lovely to be here. That was one of the most beautiful intros. Oh, my goodness. Can you introduce me everywhere?
Yeah, for sure. Just pay me.
Warm and fuzzy. Sure.
Yeah, I'll take a cookie.
Okay. I'm a very good baker.
I bet you are.
It's true.
It's
true,
I
yeah.
love eating baked goods, so.
Yeah, just give me a dozen and then I'll give you a dozen intros.
I'll give you a baker's dozen.
Ooh, lucky me.
For longtime listeners of Screen Snark, Tyler was foretold in the annals of this show to eventually be on it because Rachel is just slowly bringing her friends on. Not that I'm not doing that, considering the musicians, rappers, and burlesque performers I've brought on are all my friends as well, so
wonderful.
It's the same thing.
But Tyler rounds out my Dungeons and Dragons group.
Ooh,
so
nice.
if you want to be on Screen Snark, you can just
start playing D&D with Rachel.
Drop in our DMs and start playing D&D with me, and we'll put you on. I'm not even mad. It's like I'm out of friends now. Tyler's my last friend.
Oh,
you'll have to reach out to people you
certain.
don't know to ask if they want to do it.
Oh,
Fear of fears. You're a pretty friendly sort. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe.
You do still have one other friend that we've tried to get on this show who's already been on Autographs, who's also on your other podcast that you haven't nailed down yet.
Who's this?
Right.
So he is the Holy Grail.
Yeah, he's our white whale.
He is.
That'll never happen.
Wow, did you just call
Scott Thomas
a
yeah.
whale?
Yeah, but like the Moby Dick,
Yeah.
Wait, now you're talking
not
about
that
his
he's
dick?
a Moby Dick. Yeah, it's fine.
He destroys ships a lot.
Don't fuck with me, Storm. It's fine.
It is fine.
You get it as
Scott Thomas. I'm going to jump in here. Scott Thomas, an incredible human, a very passionate, open, caring soul, mysterious and elusive. Can be, but
he's tough to nail down.
Yeah, but twice his elusiveness and mysteriousness in heart. And one hell of a performer.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
All the
top
time.
tier. Also, the beautiful middle ground between me and Patrick on the other show that we don't talk about here on air.
Oh, no.
That one.
That show. The more popular one.
The other one.
It was funny, a quick diatribe before we get into what we've been watching this week.
I love this. I'm into let's just make this whole episode intro. Like
just
really,
all
I love
intro
this.
all the time.
Just we don't get to the movies.
I'm ready for movies whenever.
This time
this
we
is
just
great
break
too.
the format.
So as of the day we're recording, Spotify released their stats for podcasters and musicians and listeners of those things on the platform, so you can see the kind of stuff you've done. And I just think it's really cool the kind of numbers we got and the kind of data we got, and this is just from Spotify. I don't have all the platforms, and those who use our RSS feed directly, like I have ways to track it, but not as like pretty as the Spotify way. But that said, I found out today that we have fans in 10 different countries. And including the ones named in the quick format was Australia and the UK. So whoever is listening to us in both those locations and all those other locations, thank you for listening. That's really awesome.
Thank you. We're a global podcast, and I'm so honored.
Wow. Yeah, seriously. What an honor indeed.
I also found out as of this year, at least, our top 3 episodes. Our number 1, of course, is the brilliant and incredible and sometimes a pain in the ass Patrick Willems, who is our second episode, who we absolutely love. Number 2 was Case Aiken, one of our brethren at certain POV.
Another hardworking, talented.
Clay's brother, right?
No.
Not Clay Aiken's brother, no.
Oh,
no relation to my knowledge.
Different Aiken. They're not all related, you weirdo.
Well, hey, I heard Aiken. I saw the spiky hair. What can I say?
And then, of course,
Case
our
does not
number
have spiky hair.
Of course, our number 3 is Mark Robert Turner, everyone's best friend.
Oh, of course.
Literally friends with everyone. If you ever go to his birthday, you're just like, how do you all know each other? What happened? How are we all here? He's the most popular man in my life, I'd probably say.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to just like long-term friends that always like show up to his parties.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Loved by many.
Loved by many.
Loved by many. But yeah, and so I thought it would be
lover
fun.
of many.
Also
good thing to be. Both great things.
But yeah, I thought it was fun to share those stats just because I had no idea, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's buck wild.
Also, like, I'd say I'm surprised that Patrick Willems is our most popular episode, but like he's got a huge following, and so I'm not that shocked.
Got it.
But it was still pretty funny to see who, like, honestly, it's awesome that Case is our number 2 most listened to guest. I mean, I love Case and he's a delight, but I wouldn't have necessarily expected that. So that's pretty cool.
Well, he's a relative like podcast mogul, you know,
that's
with
true.
his certain point of view, you know, like anybody who's here from the certain point of view family is going to have a connection to Case.
That's true.
And also like he deserves the number 2 slot because he writes the descriptions in the Discord.
That's true. He does.
And refuses to punctuate them the way I fucking asked him to.
Well, at this point, he's doing it out of spite, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And I'm also calling him out of spite. I love you, Case. Good man.
All right, but enough ego stroking.
Enough of. Let's get. Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Let's get back on our bullshit.
Let's do it. And let's talk about what we've been watching. And then we'll talk a little bit about the awesome stuff that Tyler's doing. So,
which is a lot.
Now, ever since we switched the format not that long ago, I've had a bit of a dilemma of talking about the most recent thing I watched. Because recent to me is like within the last week. And if I've only watched one thing within the last week, then that's what I'll talk about. But if I've watched 3 different shows over 3 days, like I'm more inclined to talk about one than the other. And I'm not sure which one to bring up because of the current discourse, older shows versus newer stuff. The one I'm going to talk about is mostly...
Let your heart decide.
Also part of it, I think, is the genres. So, like, we talk about animation a lot. We talk about sci-fi a lot. We talk about, new stuff, old stuff. But at the end of the day, I want to talk about this show because I think it's safe to talk about without giving too many spoilers, because the biggest spoiler in it has been all over the internet for the last 3 weeks.
Memeified. Okay, I actually know where you're going. And I was like, oh no, are we going to talk about the same thing? I have no idea. And we're not.
No. So I'm
excited. I don't know.
I want to talk about The Mandalorian. And I want to talk about The Mandalorian for a few different reasons. One, because it's a phenomenal show that I've really been enjoying.
Okay.
But
it's amazing.
But beyond that, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. I am tired, literally exhausted of the shitty Star Wars discourse. And so at any opportunity that I can talk about positive Star Wars discourse, I'm going to. And also... growing up, Boba Fett was my favorite character for no better reason than he had badass armor and a flamethrower, and a rocket pack. Like,
super cool.
Like, as a tiny
I gotta
little boy.
give me one of those.
Yeah, like literally, this guy looks cool. He's the best character in the whole movie. And like my friends are like, but the lightsabers and the other guy. No, I don't care. Doesn't matter.
And I will say, what's really great about the current, to touch on the relative discourse of The Mandalorian. I like that the discourse is, what do we call this one character who doesn't have a name? And do we like it that Pedro Pascal wears a mask all the time? Like, I love that this is the discourse, because it's very nice to be like, I mean, you're not wrong, but also, like, you're not wrong. And I only don't like it when people start getting nasty about it. Because it's like, have your opinion, bring it to the table. I will agree or disagree with you, but that's fine. Like, I don't think you're terrible for saying, well, we can't call them that because that's not who this character is.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how discourse should go.
Yeah.
Boba Fett's the man, though. I'm totally with you on it.
Yeah. And so,
Also,
like, and I got really mad when the special editions came out and they changed his voice to be the same as Jango Fett's, because the whole nonsense that it turned out that he was a clone like the others, but he was a natural-born clone as opposed to the other ones that were done through, like, tech and science. It's nonsense. Like, I liked the original actor who did his voice. I'm annoyed that those changes are made, but they are what they are. The great thing about The Mandalorian is that it has nothing to do with Boba Fett. So it's given me a new Mandalorian, because I like Mandalorians. I've loved the backstory of the Mandalorians. In the Star Wars tabletop game, I've played Mandalorians before. Like, I like everything that's gone into that lore. So to get a brand new show where I don't know that much, but I know enough that I can just enjoy it, has been really exciting. And also, I've forgotten how much I love Jon Favreau until watching the show, because, like, I mean, I love Iron Man 1 and 2. I love Swingers. I've always loved Chef. I love all of his stuff. But like, he's a great TV writer, and this show shows how great of a TV writer he is, because every episode is so engrossing and also captivating and sort of like a capsule. Like, each one feels episodic. Like, there is a through line story, but like, I never feel like it's bogged down and here's what happened before. Like, those are broader strokes, which has been really great.
Yeah, it's definitely got that feeling of like, we're taking on a new, like, big bad, whether it's an idea or a physical enemy or, you know, trying to get an egg. I just love that so much. I think it's so excellent at being sort of the answer to a question of, what if we had a Western television show? Because, like, Mando rolls into town or to a new planet, and stuff happens and they have to deal with it, and then they also have this extra character, sort of like, what is, like, this big overarching mystery, but like, we're dealing like, I love the format. I love everything, and I'm of the opinion that I don't mind that we don't see Pedro Pascal's face at all, because, like, I love mask work and animation and puppetry, and I think that, like, voice acting, it does a lot for me, and I don't need much. I think it's phenomenal, and every week I'm just like, is it Friday? Is it time for a new Mandalorian?
Oh, that's
is
great.
it time? I'm ready. I'm always ready for this whole thing. And also the memes of that one character I love. I guess we could say what I'm nervous to say it to Tyler.
I honestly, like, I don't know if I don't have Disney Plus. I don't know
but
how
you
I
know,
would get
you know,
Disney
people don't.
But
you can always lean on your comrades.
Totally, I would never.
Actually,
do
technically,
such a
Disney
thing.
Plus is like, you can add like 8 people. To
they anticipate it.
Well, in that case, if I can do it legally, comfortably, sure, maybe.
No, it's totally fine.
Well, there's an egg. I want to know what the egg is of.
Oh boy,
but should I not?
It's
that's
very
too spoilery.
It's very Dungeons and Dragons. In a lot of ways.
It's a dragon.
Yeah, but it's not a dragon. But, like, you get it. Like, if you watch episode 2 and you will understand what I'm talking about when I say it is very Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, Storm over there. Do you know about Sarlacc? How does Sarlacc reproduce? Are they in eggs? Does anyone know?
I don't remember. Hey. I don't think
man.
so.
I feel like I'm just, like, really putting myself on the chopping block for all the Star Wars fans out there. Anyway, but interested. I'm curious. I'd love to know, how does Sarlacc reproduce? You know, that's something I've never really thought of before.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Well, I'm talking about Boba Fett, you know.
Right. I know that they're creatures that live under the sand. They are not living sand, and that they there are multiple Sarlacc pits, but I'm not honestly sure about the science of the Sarlacc pit. But also, like,
I was just thinking that there would be some
very-
poetic justice, or not poetic justice, but there would be something rather
that is called
funny.
fan service.
Sure, there would be something.
When you put a thing in.
But it would be humorous if the Mandalorian was carrying around an egg for a Sarlacc. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know.
He's
I
not.
don't think that's the case.
But-
He's not. Don't
well,
worry.
okay. There was the humor in my brain. Now you all know it out there, listeners. Screen Beans. That one's for
I
you.
got it and I loved it. Yeah. Any other thoughts about The Mandalorian? Because I could literally talk about this show
I mean,
forever.
I have a
'cause I
ton,
love it.
but
it's
like,
brilliant.
I have a ton, but like the big thing for me is like it's this fusion of like a space samurai and a space ronin, like space western, like
Space.
all of the different kind of things.
Love that.
But
Oh,
I think
yeah,
what,
it is a very Ronin piece for sure.
but what speaks to me the most
that.
about it is, I guess growing up playing a lot of video games, having a character who's always in a helmet all the time and you can't see their face is not a big deal to me because first of all, in the older generations of video games, we didn't have as incredible graphics as we do now, so like faces weren't as realistic. You thrived on the voice itself and not necessarily how it looked. But
Totally.
also there's just this, like, what I love about The Mandalorian is very quickly, and this isn't really a spoiler, they toy with this idea that even though this guy looks awesome and is super stoic, he can fuck up and is as, like, dorky and clumsy and ridiculous as any human.
Yeah, he's
Great.
not super special. He's
Right.
just this guy who believes that his weaponry is part of his religion. Like,
Right. And it's really fascinating how they
It's
do
very
that.
great.
And then also what I think my favorite thing about the show is that so every episode has at least one or two characters who don't really make another appearance, at least not thus far. Like there aren't a ton
Yeah.
of repeat characters, but they still spend as much quality time on those characters and developing them. Even though they don't show up again. Like in the very first episode, and this has been all over the internet, Werner Herzog plays a major part in that first episode.
Yeah.
And second
amazing.
episode.
Oh my god.
And
The way
that's
the
too
way
funny
Werner
to me.
Herzog says parsec is
Is
Nirvana.
Now that
it's truly
that I need to hear.
Nirvana.
but what's really
He also
interesting-
uses it wrong, which is amazing.
Right. But what's really interesting about his character is like you only see him twice. He is you don't even really get a sense of who he is, but
Yeah.
yet there's still so much intensity in his delivery. It's done so well and shot so well. There's a character who's played later by Nick Nolte, who's done brilliantly. Like it's just there's a care in this show that I haven't seen in a lot of other Star Wars media. Now, that said, I haven't watched all the animated shows, and I hear they're very good. And I do love the new trilogy. I just feel like even the new trilogy has had, and the newer one-off movies have had a lot of sheen on them and have felt kind of safe. Which isn't necessarily
Definitely
a bad thing.
Totally.
that written by committee sort of
Yeah.
deal we're in when
Sure.
it's like this has the potential to make billions of dollars,
Right.
so we better make it safe and not take too many risks.
Right.
Like,
Do all the things people
And-
want.
and
you
again-
know,
and-
like
and again, I
what's
don't-
gonna sell all the Pepsi?
Right. But again, I don't hate the new movies. I actually quite love them. I think they're really great. I just think that Mandalorian gets to do things on a smaller scale, ironically, even though it has a giant budget, because
Sure.
it's episode by episode instead of these long 2 to 3 hour films. You can take a certain sense of nuance that is just almost impossible to do in a film. You know, some movies do
Sure.
it, but, you know, it's rare that a lot of the blockbusters, especially the franchise blockbusters that we watch these days, have a ton of nuanced moments. They will have
Yeah.
sections of nuanced moments. I think Endgame is the exception to that rule because it was the wrapping up of so many stories that there was going to be a ton of nuance. But like a lot of the other Marvel movies, as you've talked about on your other podcast, a lot of the other franchise movies tend to just hit broad sweeping strokes to bring everybody in, to
Yeah.
make it more open to those people. And I get that. I totally get mass
Yeah.
appeal. But Mandalorian is on a subscription service. It's designed for Star Wars fans. You know, they're just taking a level of care for some. It reminds me a lot of Firefly because it exists in its world. It's
Yeah.
doing what it wants to do, and it's not really.
Sci-fi western.
It's not being affected by the world around
Yeah,
it.
it's not, and I love so much that it is not beholden to the world connected to the cinematic universe of Star Wars. Like we've not seen any really like familiar characters or planets. Like everybody we're meeting is super new. And I also will say
that's great.
Not just like the show itself, but its delivery system I think is so great, because like we're so used to living in like binge culture where it's like an entire season of something will drop and we're all kind of just like, hey,
ravenous dogs waiting in the corner.
Hey, did you watch that new Schmoopty Boop season? And someone's like, oh, I'm gonna
season 3 is amazing.
I'm gonna get to it soon. But I love so much like having this sort of weird sense of community while watching it, where it's like we're all kind of on the same page.
Yeah,
we're all just going, what? Like, I think it's a really clever way for streaming services, and not that I care about streaming services and their success, but I care about the way we can build communities around things.
Right.
And I just like, I love so much that we've sort of built this sort of like almost like fun meme game with one character, you know, where we're all just like having a great time, and you know, like because we're all consuming it close to the same day to be part of the community and part of the conversation.
Sure.
I love it. It's just, you know, it's something that like Game of Thrones was doing, and it's something that I feel I missed out on watching Breaking Bad when it was all finished.
Right.
But like having that sense of like, what's gonna happen next week? Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
What are we gonna meet? Who knows? I don't. Do you? And it's just like
I love that.
sharing.
And also
it's sharing.
Well, and also I think that what I love about this show is that, you know, the newer trilogy thankfully has gone back to a lot of more practical effects, but because this show is, like I said, a smaller scale, more focused, they're doing a ton of practical stuff, and I love seeing it. You know, my favorite things about Star Wars are the puppets and the costumes and the animatronics. Like, I've always loved that stuff, and this show does it. Also, what's really great about HD and how much better the picture is now is like getting to see the detail on the Mandalorian's armor and like the kind of stuff that, you know, was cool on Boba Fett in the movies too, but now because the technology for costume making is better, the technology for shooting footage is better, like you just get this sense of awe and wonder. Especially when they're talking about his armor or his weapons, because it's part of the Mandalorian community, religion, whatever we want to call it. And so
and also because there's so much inherent in the way Star Wars was built, like the original trilogy, where they made everything look really lived in and new, but also ancient and loved and worn, in the same way I think that like the Lord of the Rings trilogy also did. And it's so nice to be able to like see that legacy continue, just like, hey, this is something that is in use, like this is worn and it's loved. And even the mere shift of like, hey, that worn armor is now new and shiny, and you can see what the characters on screen are also seeing, when it's just like, that's a lot of shiny armor, my dude. That's a lot. Like what you're doing is a lot. It's an amazing show, Tyler. I just like, allow me to tempt you.
Yeah, well, I'm tempted, certainly. And just to jump back into it, yeah, shout out to all the costume designers who now, with this better technology, like their work, you know, they've always been for what, over 100 years now, costume designers have been such a huge part of filmmaking and you know, and now that camera technology is so much better and streaming technology is better and all that, now people can see with such finer detail all of the work and craftsmanship these people put into their art. So shout out to all of them being able to be recognized for a greater depth of the attention to detail that they've been putting in all along.
You're here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that it's also that there were a lot of shows that I was watching regularly that I wasn't necessarily excited for, that I was just kind of watching because they were on. There are a few shows that I run to watch these days. BoJack Horseman, which we talked about before, The Good Place. There are a few shows that, like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There are shows that I'm excited to watch.
I love Ted Danson. Ted Danson, if you're listening, I'm Tyler Clayton Appel. You're wonderful. Let's work together sometime. Honestly, you're spectacular. I just rewatched Bored to Death again, which if you haven't, we can get into that whole thing. But Ted Danson, Ted
Danson.
Thank you very much.
You know what's really weird?
Ted Danson,
I think my favorite pre-Good Place Ted Danson was actually Becker. Is
Becker
that
was
weird?
great.
I feel
No,
like
not at
I'm
all. Becker
so
was a great
strange.
show. I love that
He's
show.
a surly, nasty doctor.
Oh
Like-
my goodness!
Like,
sounds great. I bet he's great.
it's funny that you bring up Ted Danson. Like, he's my new aging goals. Like, if I could be half as handsome as Ted Danson is when I'm his age, like,
I
be
swear
happy.
to God, I was talking about this yesterday. I swear to God, I was like, I don't. However, like Ted Danson, no matter how old he is, like I want to. If I could look half that good at any age,
yeah, right?
right now, I'll take
Yeah,
that.
I'll
sure.
take Ted Danson
If I
right
could,
now.
yeah, if I could look half as good as Ted Danson right now, then thank you very much.
Yep.
Sounds great.
But I was saying, going back to The Mandalorian, so like I don't run
Sure.
to watching appointment TV, but I'm glad that this isn't binge worthy because I probably wouldn't have watched it. But the fact that it's
Yeah.
weekly and it's releasing every week, and that like we're getting, it's being trickled out, it's way more exciting for me. It's why I'm excited to come back around to Watchmen, as it's been getting so much praise and I still haven't watched it. So hopefully I can be in the discourse
so
next
behind.
time.
Me too.
but, like,
I
I've
love
been-
that book.
Like and this is kind of a tease maybe for what I'll talk about next week, next episode, we'll see. But I've also been watching his Dark Materials with my spouse, and like I loved the movie even though it wasn't perfect, and I of course loved the books. And so, but it's been so long since I've read the books that it's kind of like a brand new story still. And that's another one where the costumes are so phenomenal, and the costumes aren't like anything fantastical per se in that show. Like, I'm just glad that there's a lot of really cool appointment TV again that I'm excited to watch, because
Yeah.
for a long time, especially dramas and action, like my go-to was the Marvel stuff, and that stuff I burned out on, and like the CW
Yeah.
stuff, which I also
Sure.
burned out on, which I'm annoyed about because I really want to watch Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I may just watch.
I'm just gonna watch
anyway.
it regardless.
Yeah, I'd
like I
probably
don't
do the
care.
same.
Like I think my favorite character from one of the television shows is dead now, and I don't care.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm gonna watch it because
Yeah.
I want to see good Brendan Routh.
He looks
I
so
wanna see
good.
that Go-Go boy.
He looks so good as Kingdom Come Superman, and I'm so glad that he's getting a redemption, because I liked his Superman, even though the movie was
Yeah,
not great. But like, I liked him.
Yeah, I think it's something to be said when actors are given difficult direction
Yeah.
and what they can do with it.
And
you
bad
know?
scripts.
And
I-
bad scripts. For
I mean,
sure.
yeah.
Bad
The
Like,
biggest
scripts
problem
is
with
like
that movie was
the
that he was
unbeatable
asked to be
thing.
Christopher Reeve, and it's like
yeah,
you
And
can
it's like,
only do so
no.
much with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Anyway,
It's so
we're
limiting. Can you imagine, like,
We're off.
yeah, well,
fine.
yeah, just
What were you
to
gonna say?
add a period of punctuation here, but yeah, like to be an actor who's asked to recreate another actor's style is like, that's terrible. What
Yeah.
what an insult to the craft, like totally understandable. Oh, you want to emulate like this certain element of someone's performance and embody that in a piece of what you do, but it's so limiting to be like, oh, we just want more or less a recreation of this. I don't know if this is really what was happening there,
Yeah.
but what an insult that is.
Yeah, you know, it'd be really. I'm sorry, but you just made me think of something. The idea that like trying to get actors to recreate iconic roles
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore because it's like, well, we can just animate it like
Ugh.
now. We can
Yeah.
bring actors back from the dead. I
I
guess
know.
it's
That's a
terrible.
whole
Anyway, I'm
ethical
sorry.
thing
That's
right
a whole
there, yeah.
kettle of
Yeah.
fish.
No,
We'll
yeah.
work
I
on
don't want
that
to talk
later.
about deep fake. It just makes me depressed.
I just want everybody to know how deep and intellectual I am.
Oh, yeah,
And I just
sure.
like think about stuff. That's all I want. I just
Got
want
it.
recognition for
Noted.
that. Anyway, Matt Storm, if you had to describe the Mandalorian in 3 words without using the or Mandalorian, what 3 words would you use?
Ronin space western.
Ronin Space Western.
Very good.
I like that.
Yeah, that
That's
seems-
apt.
From what you said, that sounds spot on.
Mine is go watch it.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. I think it's great. I love it.
Mine
One other
is-
thing I wanted to say real quick as we wrap up on The Mandalorian is I'm so
Yeah.
glad
Haven't
John
seen it.
Williams didn't do the score for this. The scoring is not that I have a problem with John Williams, but just the kind of
Interesting.
deeper, bassier scoring, especially the theme song for The Mandalorian is so
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like I
Also,
love.
what's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name? He also did the music for Community.
Oh,
no way.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Something
Praise be.
Ludwig Göransson, maybe?
I don't remember.
The internet's screaming at me. It's fine. You can tweet at me and tell me the name of this composer, who I love and I think is great.
I'm sure Rob
yeah, I
Strobin
think
will
the-
look it
the
up
music-
and post it in the Discord.
Thank you, Rob.
Ludwig
Thank you for
Go-
being the
Ludwig
lorist
Göransson.
here.
It's
Ludwig
Göransson.
Göransson.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson.
Nice.
I was very close.
You were
Or I
close.
was right. I don't know. I was
Something
close.
like that.
It's fine.
Rob
I love
Strogan
it.
will
It's
also
good
remind
music.
us of that later too.
Like those credit musics with
Yeah.
like beautiful like art stills of each event in the episode. I
Oh my
love
God,
it.
yeah.
It's such throwback TV. I can't believe it's real.
Yeah, for sure. But
You
enough
mean
about the
that it feels
Mandalorian.
like a show from like an older generation? Is that kind of what you mean? by
Yeah, like
throwback
it's
TV?
got a lot of those sensibilities of
Got
like
it.
older shows. You know, before like television would like small the screen and then it would be like watch the next comedy on Fox.
Next time on
Yeah, where it's just
sure.
like the credits are sort of like taking a backseat. This
Oh,
really puts
yeah.
those credits in like the forefront by adding these beautiful
Okay,
re-rendered
stills
stills and sort of I guess concept art from the episode.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, that's cool. I
yeah,
like
it's
that.
beautiful. It's just like a heightened
Yeah.
like way to also like kind of recap the show
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, oh yeah, that moment. It's now a beautiful, almost like watercolor painting. I love
Ooh.
this show. Toe to tip, I love it.
I love that. That
All
sounds
right.
Great.
Let's
Anyway.
move along. And now, dear Rachel,
Moving right
What-
I'm
along.
so excited.
what have you most recently watched? And is it trash like the last thing you watched? I'm just curious.
It is
Ouch.
literally the opposite of trash. No,
Excellent.
I love watching trash.
No,
I
yeah.
love
okay,
trash
got it.
so much.
Like the room level.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I think I talked about The Masked Singer the last time. No,
you talked about The
What was it?
Descendants.
I talked about Descendants. Jesus, I watch garbage. Okay, so
Anyway.
it's real. I'll tell you about it off air because
Okay.
I spent enough time on the
Sure.
Descendants on
Okay,
this
yeah.
show.
Screen beans are like, we've heard all about
We
it.
get it. We understand how you feel, Rachel. No, I actually treated myself to a new piece of cinema that is getting a lot of rave reviews.
Oh, I
very,
know what
very
it is.
popular.
I haven't seen
Very
it yet, though.
exciting. I actually asked
be a few
the Twitterverse to take me to church on why I should go see this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, I went and saw it over the weekend. I'm talking about Ryan
Johnson,
Sure.
I believe.
Ryan Johnson. I've heard it both ways. Ryan Johnson's new pet project, Knives Out.
So now the first
I've
thing I
heard
have to
great
say
things.
is no spoilers because I haven't seen it.
No
and
spoilers.
I really want to.
No,
I
it's
have also not
so
seen it.
it's so new. I will do this spoiler free.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, tell me about like why you enjoyed it, like aesthetically, and like tell me more about it because
Yeah.
yeah, as far as I know,
oh, for sure.
and actually this might be fun since I've been following it, but I haven't seen it yet, and you can tell me how accurate
Yeah.
I am. It seems like
Yeah.
a comedy murder mystery, a la not unlike Clue, like a bunch of quirky characters. Someone has died, and like they're trying to investigate it. Am I kind of on track?
Yes.
Okay,
You're
awesome.
you're pretty close.
So it's a classic whodunit.
Yeah, a classic whodunit,
I
but
know
for
nothing.
2019. I think Ryan Johnson has been influenced a lot by films like Clue and really wonderful whodunits, but adds an element of his sensibility and like 2019. Like I don't want to give a lot away, but
Right.
I will say in my experience, I spent a large portion of this movie so concerned, just like full of dread and worry in the most delightful way.
Okay.
I can't tell you any more than that because if
Okay.
I get any deeper into it, you'll just go, oh well, now you spoiled it. But there's a lot that Johnson gives you early on, a lot of things that he sets up and then just like brings back or twists or like this individual has probably studied a lot of storytelling, like a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of comedic punchlines and setups. It's utterly brilliant. I cannot believe that this movie exists in 2019 because it is doing so many interesting things that movies just kind of can't get away with right now, because like
Interesting.
of commercial viability or not. But I think this is really bold and really fresh. And also like my little leftist heart loves it because it's like delightfully class conscious,
nice.
like in a
Sure.
way where
That's
it's sort
great.
of like, hey, sometimes wealthy people are just wealthy and like that sucks. And I can't believe that has come out of sort of this mainstream merchandise device, you know, through this piece that its goal on a level of like the economic system that we're in is to like make money, that it's kind of against that idea in a weird way. And also like such a fascinating like look at legacy and what that means and who deserves someone's legacy and like what truly counts and what like it's got this really interesting morality too, because you're just kind of like questioning some stuff and you're just like, whoa, I can't like believe that I feel the way that I feel about this. Like I think it's a masterpiece. Like it's so funny and engaging and delightful and demented and oh my god, Daniel Craig's buck fucking wild accent. I cannot stress this enough. What the fuck? It's so perfect and so bizarre. I love this movie. I want to go see it again. Like I don't often want to go see movies in theaters a second time, but this one I'm like, I would go see that again.
Wow.
Just to live in it and like knowing what I know now, having watched the movie and not living in the beat to beat, like, oh god, oh shit, fuck.
Now you can see all the breadcrumbs.
Now you can sort of see like the true artistry in the storytelling. So that's me literally taking you guys to church.
That's
Knives
great.
Out.
Yeah,
it's
I want to
so
see it.
good.
You know, you were talking about Dread before, and I like looked at a couple stills because I was actually just talking about it the other day. It's funny that. Again, this was just mentioned, but I like immediately felt dread upon seeing Toni Collette, like amidst all of these people, because I was just taken immediately back to Hereditary. I don't know if either of you saw Hereditary, but
no.
that man, if you want to talk about cinematic dread, that is like one of the greatest executions I've ever seen in my entire life. I like straight up right here. I am not a okay, I watch a ton of film. I love movies and the whole cinematic experience and the artists that craft it. I'm a huge fan. I am I'm the ultimate noob when it comes to horror. I don't know horror. I'm not a huge horror fan. So
we aren't either. Over here we're like, nah.
So you know, I'm willing to believe, of course, that I think there's great quality in every genre. You know, there's good and bad always. But that was one of the films that I saw that was able to capture dread in such an unbelievably successful manner. I mean, in the attention, I would go as far to say that in terms of popular films, because that was a film that made a lot of money and a lot of people went and saw. In terms of like popular films that are gone to see, I think that maybe was the best, very popular film in recent history that I've seen anyway. In terms of attention to detail, there's so much craftsmanship and so many hidden things that if you went back to see it a second time, there's so much that's being set up and alluded to that's like so gently hidden. But anyway, Toni Collette's performance in it is so breathtaking that like, just seeing her in a still for Knives Out, I felt dread immediately just seeing her face. So like Toni Collette, great work. Everyone in that film.
Must stand Toni Collette. Like you simply must. Like I think that she always is doing such interesting projects and like making such wonderful choices for like her career. Like she's done Broadway, she's done horror, she's done a Showtime show where she has DID, and like I'm pretty ride or die for Toni Collette, and I think that Colette's I think all of the performances in this movie are just top tier. Like Michael Shannon fucking crushing it. Toni Collette, Jesus Christ. Jamie Lee Curtis. Are you kidding me?
What a cast.
Chris Evans. Just like all of them.
Okay.
They're so nasty. And I cannot believe that I cannot believe this is real.
A real movie.
This movie is not real. And
taking her church. All right, I gotta go.
God.
I gotta see it.
Jeez, everybody's so perfect. And the I guess sort of like the protagonist surrogate, I will just get a little bit into detail, is the deceased's caretaker. So she has been in his life as his medical caretaker toward the end of his life. Christopher Plummer also.
Yeah, always.
Oh my God, so good. And so we see a lot of the story through her eyes. she's a Latinx, and so there's a lot of that like weird balancing act of like this rich white family and this sort of like paid help who is very deeply connected to the deceased. It's so, and she's so good. I can't remember that actor's name because I'm garbage with actor names. But she's brilliant. Like, just, she makes my stomach drop because I just love her so much, so deep in my bones. I can't believe it. I can't believe this movie is real. I really can't. It's so...
Oh, man.
Oh, it's craft.
I gotta see it. There's so many movies
It's craft. I can't. It's so funny and so awful and so delicious. Makes me want to wear a sweater all the time.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that really made me want to see it is why I've seen certain other movies over the last few years that I might not have necessarily gone to the theaters for. But, like, we don't have a ton of original IPs, right? This is a thing we all complain about on every podcast everywhere. But, like, there aren't a lot of new ideas. And even Knives Out isn't a new idea. It's based on a lot of other things.
Who done it?
But, like, it's why I saw Baby Driver. It's why I've seen, like, why I saw Us. Why I saw, you know.
Yeah, so good as well.
You know, like, all of these movies that are original IPs by brilliant minds that I want to get support because... who knows when we're going to get another one of those between all the other franchise stuff that I also love, and I'd be a hypocrite to say I don't. And so, like, from the first trailer of Knives Out, and also, like, I love Chris Evans as Captain America. His Captain America is I think, one of the greatest superhero portrayals in all of filmdom, of all comic bookdom. Like, he's just perfectly crafted that role, coming from playing teenage assholes for so long and like smarmy guys. And what's so exciting about the trailer for this movie is it's like a return to the Johnny Storm or the She's All That, like the obnoxious,
Not
narky.
another teen movie.
Yeah.
Wait. He's Johnny Storm in the earlier
Fantastic Four movies.
Oh yeah,
man.
I have an entire
Wow,
thread
that's so
talking
funny.
about how
It's been a long
like
time since I've
Hollywood
seen
gives mini men a second chance at a
Yeah.
first impression as a superhero.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine.
yeah,
Whatever.
But
It's
that
cool.
said, like
Sure.
I like Chris Evans' sense of humor. He's really funny and really kind on the internet, but I like when he plays snarky characters, and I'm excited to see him do that again because he hasn't done it in a decade. It feels like.
I feel like this movie, Knives Out, I think, to quote Scott Thomas, friend of this podcast,
Yes.
I think this movie really gives us a unified theme of Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I
can
think
see
this
that.
one really like gets it in a way that really shows the range of Chris Evans in his earnestness. Whatever he's doing, he is bringing some earnestness to it. If he's earnestly an asshole, he is giving you that. If he's earnestly the guy who gets up and fights for the little guy, he is earnestly giving you that. And I think that this performance is just him having fun, flexing that tool set of being an actor who just like brings it, you know, and like not to disparage anybody else. I think everybody else is truly also like top tier, like peak performances. Like I think this is peak Michael Shannon for me too. I think this is peak Toni Collette. I think like everybody who is in this, maybe not peak Daniel Craig because his accent is so weird, but I love it so much. But I think everybody who was there was so delighted to be there and like understood the piece in a way that we don't see a lot. Like I think everybody got to be in on the script read and got to understand like where everybody was going and what was happening versus, you know, like a lot of the big studio productions where it's like, say this line like you're excited, surprise, it's opening night and you just found out you're an Avenger, Anthony Mackie. You know, and I think there's something so good and so I think integral in everybody kind of knowing the roadmap when doing the piece, you know, because I think everybody being being above the table, fully aware of where it's going influences what you're going to do on screen.
Right.
You know, because like you're also a part of the storytelling. You're not just set dressing being told to do the thing.
Yeah. Right.
You know, without truly knowing what's going on. You know, like you are given the keys to the kingdom. And I think that's very important. Like, I think everybody on set, whether in front of the camera or behind, should be a party to the piece. And this is why I love theater so much, because like that's what you do. Like, you all read the script together, you all know what's going on, you're all sort of building this piece, this one uniform piece together. And I think that Knives Out is doing really good theater on screen.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's great.
I just could talk about this forever.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Like, I loved it.
You're not. I mean, you'll run out of things to talk about without spoiling, I think, eventually. But that said, I think
it would take a while, though. Rachel can
There's
expound.
a lot. I'm very verbose.
She is. It's true.
Rachel, if you had to sum up Knives Out without using the words knives or out in 3 words, how exactly would you do that right at this very exact moment? Dragged it out as long as I could. Tried to work with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Moment of silence. Dramatic pause.
We need this.
Ooh, I like that. Excellent.
Yeah.
Speaks from the soul.
Like, there's so many ways I can describe this, and I feel like I've really like done a lot of it in the lead up to the 3-word review. I think we need this because I think we do in consuming cinema. Like, it gives me faith in like vision again. It creates in me a sense that like, oh yeah, people are making really, really good movies that can just be good without necessarily being needlessly divisive or needing to be like a conversation starter. Like, I think anyone who sees this movie like is going to walk away and go, hey, I think that that's craft.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't enjoy it, but it was well crafted. I wonder if anybody like really did not like Knives Out. I would love to discuss that with you.
Sure.
Like, so much. Like, just tweet at me and be like, I didn't like Knives Out. Let's talk about it. And I can just be like, tell me what you think. Because I feel like this movie is one where we're going to come to a good discussion about it and like its themes and what it means. And it's just a really good piece to sit with and dissect and go see again, like, and I don't feel that way about a lot of movies I see because I do watch a lot of trash. Good job me. I didn't watch trash this time and I'm really excited.
Congrats.
Maybe I'll stop watching trash. Probably not. I love trash. It's great.
All right. Well, awesome.
There's only so much time.
There's only so much time. It's true. So the time has come for Tyler to discuss his most recent.
More than ready. Oh, I've seen so many good things lately. I did go see a film I was very excited about seeing just last night, though. So I guess if we're really trying to find most recent, last night I went to the Museum of the Moving Image, which is a beautiful place here in Queens, to see the new Terrence Malick film called A Hidden Life.
Ooh,
interesting. And yeah, it brought a lot of feelings.
Terrence Malick is gonna just do that.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know. I don't know if either of you are particular fans of his or are well versed in his work. I'm not particularly well versed in his work. I've seen maybe this was the 4th film of his I've seen. I could calculate it, but I'll just continue. But yeah. It seems like his work really kind of pushes people around in terms of, very divisive in terms of whether people resonate with it or not.
Matt, are you looking up Terrence Malick movies right now?
I know he is.
No, I was going to look up. Isn't Terrence Malick the director that Patrick really recently did a video on?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
okay.
well versed in his movies because I watched a video essay about it, and that's what I was typing out to double check.
Oh, wait a second. I have also seen a video essay about Terrence Malick. Is Patrick the person who made the video that I watched?
Where he does it in a very similar style to Terrence Malick?
Yeah.
It's like, what happened to Terrence Malick?
That's him.
Yep,
That's Patrick.
that was
That's
Patrick
him?
Willems.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, by
Friend
the
of
way.
this podcast.
Okay, well, Patrick, now I'm going to watch your episode and make it even more beloved. But also, Patrick, this one's going out just to you, dude.
Ooh, dedications.
I love Knight of Cups. The first time that I saw Knight of Cups, which is a film that he made, that was maybe 2 or 3 films of his ago.
Excuse me, I'm going to message Patrick right now.
Yeah, please.
Don't even be mad
why don't you get him on the phone? Bring him in here.
He's probably busy making more videos.
Okay, well that's totally fine. But Knight of Cups. Okay, I'll never forget. I watched Knight of Cups with maybe 8 or 9 of my very, very close friends, like right after graduating college, and I'll never forget. It was a lengthy movie, maybe over 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours or so. And as soon as it ended, one of my best friends just said, "Well, that was the biggest waste of 2.5 hours of my life." And I was speechless. My jaw dropped when he said that. And immediately, everybody else that I watched the movie with agreed. Everybody else. Now, for me, I thought that it was one of the most moving films that I had seen of the past decade. And I know a lot of people don't like that film. I know a lot of people don't like this kind of era of Terrence Malick right now, of which this newest film is a part of, but also kind of starting to move away from again. But I love it because it's the antithesis to Hollywood. It's not, hey, here's your character, here's their whole backstory, here's what they're trying to do, here's their dilemma. Now this thing is going to change their life forever. Now they're off on this adventure, and here's here's the enemy who's in the way, who's trying to stop them. And all of a sudden, wait, now there's a timer. Now they need to do it within this amount of time or else everything is lost. Hurry, quick. And then they do it. And then, thank God. Wow. Glad that's over. Thanks, everyone. We've just made a formulaic film. I am not here to call out formulaic films. I think that they can be done very well. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason that those are established ideas, is because they work really well and people find them very satisfying. But what Terrence Malick has been doing recently especially has been like as far away from that as you can get and still be played in a major movie theater, which is to say he's making films that are just about a person in their life.
Yeah.
This is what's going on in their life, and this is how they feel about it. It's the type of film that I think a lot of people would say at the end, like, well, what's the point of it? Or like, what was even the plot? And a lot of times, I'm talking more about Knight of Cups than Hidden Life right now. People would be like, I don't know, what was the plot? There wasn't really a plot. You're just kind of meandering through this fellow's life played by Christian Bale. Also, the acting performances in that movie are phenomenal. This cinematography is great. He won a bunch of awards for that right around making that film as well. Anyway, I'm digressing.
No, it's okay.
But
listen, you can talk, like, talking about a piece is also the ability to talk about someone's legacy and their art and stuff.
Sure.
So you're doing great.
Yeah. So it's more about just humanity, just living a life. It's not like, wow, we've jumped into this person's life to see the most dramatic thing that will ever happen to them. It's more just we're trying to watch this person deal with these feelings that they're having at this moment of their life, and then it happens, and then it's over. It's not like some grand conclusion.
Yeah.
Knight of Cups definitely kind of leaves off in a fairly ambiguous form. Hidden Life is much more concrete, and Hidden Life is actually about an Austrian family. This young... Oh, yes, actually... Please, quick trigger warning for anyone who has an issue with genocide or the Holocaust or hatred or
just hate.
Hatred.
If you hate hatred,
yeah,
now's not the time. Just be aware.
Just
this
be aware.
Is very heavy stuff.
Yeah,
this movie.
I mean,
are we all good on the call?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Just wanted to check.
Thank you
with
for
everyone
that.
in the room.
Of course.
Check in the room.
Very important.
Undercutting it with comedy.
Yeah. Thank you for doing so.
I'm the James Gunn of content warnings.
So yeah, it was very heavy. I was trying to see if someone would go with me. No one decided to go with me. It was a 3-hour film. I understand. Wow. Yeah. It was last minute on what day is it today?
Thursday
of this
Thursday.
Yeah.
So it was a Wednesday night, and I probably put a shout out into the world a few hours beforehand. So not everyone can just run out to the movie theaters on a couple hours notice on a Wednesday night.
Also, it's so cold
for a 3-hour film that's so ultimately
cold.
Heavy. But I cried many times. I was like, ooh, this might be for the best that no one came with me.
Catharsis.
Yeah, exactly. It was just it was really heavy. Basically, okay. Trigger warning, if people wanted to leave, they probably could have by now. Hopefully I'm not boring everybody. Anyway, so it's about an Austrian family, a young couple with 3 young daughters, probably between the ages of 4 and 6. And And this is taking place back in 1940, and the war is going on. And slowly, they're a very rural town. They live on a farm, work on a farm, and slowly there's more and more, exceedingly more Nazi presence in the town, and they're asked to provide grains and food for the soldiers, and it's very clear from the beginning that the father of this family really thinks that this is what they're doing is unethical and evil, and they're killing innocent people, and he can't allow himself to be any part of it whatsoever. And then he gets a letter from the head of the country saying, hey, you need to go serve in our military, which is going to be serving as part of the Nazi force. And yeah. And so it's the film. I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil very much here, but I feel like this already kind of gives a lot of the direction in which this whole thing is going to go. But, he's thinking, well, his wife says, well, maybe we could just run away. And he's like, well, but everyone would be chasing us. So instead, he goes. And the first thing that they have him do before any military training whatsoever is they all need to first, as soon upon arrival, is swear an allegiance to Hitler. And he can't do that. He ethically stands against everything that man stands for. And so that's kind of the setup of what is occurring in the film, and him dealing with the consequences of sticking to what he believes ethically in his heart, in his soul, and knowing very, very early on what that means, and still having to stick to it. And the whole film is told now, going back and forth between him now in prisons and his wife trying to make ends meet, like working on the farm, like without the help of him to like get and process all this food for the family, and like struggling with that. And it's kind of told back and forth, jumping between their two perspectives through these letters that they're constantly writing to each other. They're constantly, throughout the entire film, we're hearing voiceover of the two of each other writing these love letters to each other. And it's always, my darling wife, I write to you again with the deepest love for you and appreciation. And it's always being undercut by the most terrible things. She's struggling to try to, get the cow to cooperate to help plow the field. Meanwhile, he's back in jail, like being beat. And but there are these love letters that are like, it's just what we're hearing in terms of the audio is just so far removed from what we're seeing visually. And it's just the magic of the film, basically, for me, is the reason why it's called A Hidden Life, which is all about, it ends with this quote, which I'm not going to be able to remember properly right now, but the idea being, like, the reason that there was so much beauty for you and I is because of all the unhistoric acts, all of the people who won't be remembered for their acts of kindness just out of their good of their heart, who now lay in unvisited tombs and who are forgotten. Like, our lives are so good because of all those good deeds that those people did for nothing. He's constantly told, what do you think your rebellion is accomplishing? Do you think it's going to change the world? Do you think it's going to stop what's occurring? And he knows it's not, but he believes that it doesn't matter. With his free will, he needs to do what is right to him. And he's the nicest guy. He's like being like pushed by Nazi officers while he's in handcuffs, like onto a train to take him to a worse prison. Yeah. And there's like an elderly lady trying to like get up her bag from like a high place, and he's with handcuffs on, like grabbing the bag for her and like bringing it down. Like a guy who's pushed by an officer like trips and falls, and like an officer's going to beat him, so behind his hands cuffed behind his back, he like bends down backwards to try to lend him a hand to help him up. There's a moment where they're given food, and he sees one guy eating ravenously, and so he gives him some of the little tiny bit of food that he's been given in this prison to this guy because he feels like he needs it. Then with the wife, she's struggling to get enough food for her family, and she gets her grains processed, and there's a man who gives her twice as much grain as she gave him. She says, well, you gave me way more than what I gave you. And he just kind of smiles and nods. And so like that is kind of the beauty of the film there, and that is why I feel like We Need This would be an appropriate 3-word review of this film, is because it's a film about.
I was gonna be like, it feels like We Need This movie.
It's a film all about how there are terrible things going on in this world right now. There are people who are being oppressed. There are people who are dealing with systematic oppression. People who deal with hatred that is not earned at all. You know, people who are pushed down and are silenced, and beaten, and violence is taken against them, and these people aren't given the chance to live a full human life. But despite that, or even in the face of all that, even when some of that doesn't seem like it can be overcome, there are people who are still trying to love and care and be kind to others, even though their actions they'll never be thanked for, that will never be recognized. It'll never cause a positive reaction beyond what is currently happening in that present moment, but some people out there still choose to do good, even though they know it's going to live and die in the matter of a moment and will never cause a larger reaction. There are people who still want to do that, and that is the beauty. That's why it's called A Hidden Life. It's that the goodness in the world is made up by all these people who have lived these hidden lives of goodness in the wake of all this tragedy and darkness. So that's what I've watched lately.
Wow. That was lovely, and I have literally nothing to add to it.
Nope.
That was wonderful.
Anyway, so there's my diatribe, ladies and gentlemen. So
I feel like this is a philosophical conversation now.
He's a philosophical filmmaker.
The power of individuals just being human toward each other, like the power of our own humanity to look at others and help them in the ways that we can in the face of overcoming odds. Just like I can't. Again, this is another movie I cannot believe exists.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for its existence, because I feel like what would my maybe I shouldn't jump the gun. I don't know if you're gonna ask me the 3 word.
Don't worry.
Okay, you'll ask. I'll come up with something different.
Ready.
But yeah, just really moving to see something like that, and I feel like that's kind of, this is much more normative, I guess, in terms of filmmaking, in terms of there really being a clear story and plot that's going on, more than his previous 3 films that Terrence Malick has been putting out. But they've all been just kind of examinations on humanity and the human condition, and they might be presented in a little bit of an irregular form that is not for everybody, and that's totally okay. If you don't like Terrence Malick's films, I don't think that you have bad taste in films. I don't harbor anything like that at all, but I do think that there is he's putting a magnifying glass onto what makes humans and how they act in certain situations, and there's definitely a lot of interesting things going on there that he's exploring, and a lot of beauty to be found there. So if you think that you're screen beans out there, if you think that you're willing to take a chance on something that's a little bit more irregular but is going to challenge you to open up your heart and maybe to watch a movie as more of an emotional and philosophical experience rather than purely an entertainment or fun experience, which, by the way, I totally love films that are entertaining, films that are fun. I think that it's beautiful that we have films of all different kinds. A Hidden Place needs Endgame, and they need each other because they both make each other way more necessary films. You see A Hidden Life, and you're gonna be like, oh gosh, that was amazing and so thoughtful. But next time I watch a movie, I want to just smile and laugh or something.
You gotta balance it, so, you can't just eat all beef all the time.
Nothing exists in a vacuum. We only have happiness because we have sadness. And I'm a big believer of that in film as well. So I'm thankful for everything. But if Screen Beans, if you want to challenge yourself to something that you might find really moving, or really boring, I can't imagine how. However, I'm sure that perspective is out there. Then yeah, maybe go check out a Terrence Malick film. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I feel sold on Terrence Malick now.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
weirdly enough.
definitely feel an emotional connection to his work, I will say. Terrence Malick, shout out, man. Let's collaborate.
Terrence Malick.
Hey, Terry, please, I'm an actor. I'm a filmmaker. It would be an honor. I'm a cameraman. Like, it would be an honor to collaborate with you.
Yeah. So, Matt, do you have any other questions about A Hidden Life at all
I
that
don't.
you would like addressed?
That was a lovely conversation.
I'm stunned.
And by
This is
conversation,
Tyler.
I mean monologue.
Yeah.
And I'm eager to actually go check it out. I've not seen a lot of his work, and so I've seen a few films, but I'm eager to watch this when it comes to a couch near me.
It's very fun to be in an episode, inside baseball real quick, where like everybody's like super like really passionate about the piece that they have brought.
Yeah.
I think this is really great. This is why I love this show. Like what we do, Matt, like I just love these moments where it's just like I am enraptured at somebody like breaking down a movie that I would not have seen otherwise and like really connect to it. Like I'm very excited. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that, because I was just like I'm in love now. Like I just like, oh, my heart, I can't breathe. So Tyler,
Yes.
if you had to, this one feels like
Here we
a
go.
sin.
No, it's
to
okay.
ask.
It's all right. I'm going to do my best.
If you had to essentially butcher this movie that you sold so beautifully to us, A Hidden Life, without using a hidden or life, how would you describe this piece in 3 words? Good luck. You can think about it for a while. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that if I had to do it with 3 words, I would have to say love amidst tragedy.
Perfect.
Damn.
That's great. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Happy motherfucking holidays, listeners. Whoa.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'll just expound just a little more because I'm feeling it so much right now.
What?
But yeah, if that's one thing that I walked away from the film, is just like, look at these people that for no reason were doing good, It like spread love to others. Tell people that you care about, that you love them and care about them. Be nice to a stranger if you see someone struggling, and you don't have to go that far out of your way. Lend a hand, because it means
Give them a subway swipe, New York.
Give them a subway swipe. It means so much more than the act itself. Because that's the whole thing. It's not just the subway swipe. It's that someone amidst in New York City's crazy. Everybody's in a rush all the time. Everyone has a place to be. And the fact that someone would take a second to benefit another person means so much more than just the action. And I guarantee that will inspire that person to act out in kindness towards some other stranger. So let's make the world a better place, one loving action of kindness at a time.
I mean, at the essential end of it, what you're saying, and like the idea of like spreading this around, like you are recognizing someone else's humanity, and it gets harder for us to do that the more we are afforded the privilege of connecting outside of the meat space, as I like to call it. But like Meat Space is so good. I love Meat Space. I just want to be on Meat Space for all time. But like take a moment and recognize someone else's humanity, whether it's something very small or very large. Like do that, and don't do it for you, do it for them, because the moment you are a person in a space with another person and you're just like, I see your personhood and I respect you for it, like that means so much, and it costs so little, and it's so kind to do. It like be there for your fellow humans, in whatever way you can. We're all in this together.
I'm doing the move.
We're all dancing over here. Anyway, that note is weird. So Tyler,
Rachel,
here it comes. It's time for your interview.
Oh my goodness! Already?
I know. Already, time flies when you're
going by
making
so fast.
a podcast about.
I'm
movies.
having fun. Are you having fun out there, listeners?
We paused
They're in the
so
future.
you could respond
Okay.
aloud to the
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
wherever you are, just go woo.
Yeah.
Just do
We'll
that.
feel it.
That's fine.
We'll
Or
definitely
clap.
feel
We'll
it.
know it. Oh wow, I got the chills.
Oh my
I
goodness!
felt it.
Look.
Wow,
Time
time
travel.
travel is real.
Whoa.
So
Said that at the
Tyler,
same time.
you are a truly multifaceted creator, musician,
Thank you.
performer, filmmaker. all of that. I would love so much to talk about your latest music video.
Sure, yes.
I want to know everything about it.
Oh, I don't think we have enough time for everything, but I'll tell you, there's a lot to it.
Okay,
I'll tell you. Whatever you wanna
Tyler,
know.
you just
Yes.
released a beautiful new EP.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
It's called
Buried
Buried
Memories.
Memories.
Buried Memories. Thank
Yes.
you.
You're welcome.
I can't remember shit. It's fine. I've got
Hey.
listen. What
Don't
show
you
is
worry
this?
about it.
Right, it's totally
do
not
we
like
intro
we
it?
do this at a computer where we can pull up our Spotify account and search Tyler Clayton Appel ahead
It's
of time.
on Spotify.
It is on
Woo!
Spotify.
It is.
And
That's
so
how I've
you
been listening to
you
way.
converted
That's
the
awesome,
the title track of the
Correct.
EP into
Yes.
a music video.
Yes, I did.
Lovely piece, very
Thank you.
pastoral.
Yes.
I was wondering, what was the? I don't want to be like, what's your process? But I do want to know, like,
Sure.
what?
I'll talk about anything
what-
you want to know about it.
How did this come to life?
I'm
like,
an open book.
Like, where did you go for the
Mm-hmm.
for the sets? Like, what was your mission in
Sure.
in making it? Because I'm always so interested in these sort of like BTS behind the
Yeah.
scenes kind of stuff. So, just what made you decide to choose this very like pastoral aesthetic for Buried Memories?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you asked. Well, first off, I'll say that all of the locations in that music video are very specific locations. That I have very specific memories that I am essentially burying or putting away in safekeeping to not I feel like I need to first say that like the idea of the song is the first line of the song is the memories I've buried just to let you go. The idea being like how much do you need to. It's not that you need to erase it because they're not memories I'm erasing, but they're being buried. They're being tucked away. They're being put out of the front mental space of my existence in order to carry on, which
Yeah.
is what the song is about.
I like to put mine in glass bubbles.
Yes, in glass bubbles.
That idea of like isolating this from
Exactly.
what we are currently experiencing, but still,
It's still a part of me.
Yeah.
It's still there, but it's
not.
part of my daily accessing.
Yeah,
So I like
get
to
it.
dig holes and put them in the ground, I guess.
put it in the
Yeah,
ground.
so I put it on the ground. Shout out to Andy Samberg. Oh wow, I'm gonna do shout outs here. Shout out to Andy Samberg, my comedic idol of my youth and contemporary time.
dead.
Also, double shout out to Joanna Newsom, my contemporary ultimate adoration and love for you as a human being and an artist.
Joanna
has
Newsom,
no
amazing.
bounds. This
Cannot
is not a music
believe.
podcast, but I would
It's
just like to
okay.
take 2 seconds to say,
Matt,
hey,
have
you
you
know,
listened to Joanna Newsom?
The name sounds familiar, so I might have, but I can't recollect off the top of my
Treat
head.
yourself to a track called Sawdust and Diamonds. Treat yourself.
did you pick
Okay.
that out of the blue? Do you know that song is like everything to me?
I have Wise on vinyl.
Yeah.
Hi, this is why
Yeah.
we're friends.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Anyway.
Sometimes I'm a real weirdo, pretentious music
Yeah.
snob, but most of the time I just want to listen to
Yeah.
Old
she's
Town Road.
amazing.
It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love
so,
pop music.
Yep,
Anyway,
thanks,
so-
Joanna. You've gotten me through the toughest of times. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to I'll just tie this in. Paul Thomas Anderson and Joanna Newsom worked together. So Paul Thomas Anderson is
Jesus.
one of the greatest contemporary American filmmakers for me personally. So there you go. Screen Beans. There's your movie fact that ties it all together. I
Make
had
a
that planned
Venn
from the start.
diagram of Tyler and his process. It's Joanna Newsom, Andy
Always.
Samberg, and fucking who's the
Paul
last
Thomas
one?
Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson,
man.
like right in the middle of
The
that
Master,
little,
one of my
like
favorite
in that little like
films
beautiful
of
like.
contemporary time.
There you go. You got Tyler
Joaquin Phoenix
Clayton Appel.
and Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams, Laura Dern. Like, oh man. Okay, Screen Beans. If you haven't seen The Master, scored by Johnny Greenwood, a lead guitar player for Radiohead. Like,
Full
a
disclosure, this is
beautiful
my favorite episode.
masterpiece. Wow, that's an honor. Anyway, I was supposed to be talking about myself. Clearly, I'd rather talk about
This is
Paul Thomas
Tyler,
Anderson and
for
Joanna
real.
Newsom and Andy
Anyway.
Samberg. Anyway, Joaquin Phoenix. So anyway, yes, I'd like to work with you all again. Just putting it out there.
There you go.
Just planting the seeds. So
Well, if they're in Australia or the UK,
yeah,
it
apparently
might
they'll be
happen.
listening. Yeah. So okay, so buried memories. So all of those locations, those pastoral locations, are all very specific because some of those are locations that I had with this person that the song is referring to, and these memories. Some of them there are literal lyrics, like one for one, like that lyric is actually talking about this specific place. And so all of those locations are very intentional. And so that's back in Amherst, Massachusetts, where I went to college. UMass Amherst. Woo! Go Minuteman. So yeah, in terms of process, I storyboarded the whole thing. I had I hand drew, which did not look glorious, a lot of stick figure drawings, but I hand drew every single frame of that film. There were maybe a couple shots that came to my mind while I was out shooting. You know, there's a great thing, I'm trying to think, maybe Robert Bresson, who said that he always has a plan for what he's going to film. If it's not him, I'm very sorry that I'm giving him extra credit for this, but he's a great French filmmaker who, I think it was him that said that he always has a plan for everything that he's going to shoot, but then he allows himself the opportunity to come up with a better idea when he's actually shooting. So that was basically how this music video went. Almost every shot was exactly how I had drawn it, but there were a couple that I got to the space and I was like, you know what? Actually, if I put the camera over here, frame it like this, I think it'll be even more powerful. So then I would modify.
Yeah. So did you filmed this whole music video yourself?
Yeah, it was a solo project.
Real Renaissance man for sure.
So yeah, storyboarded it and then I went out and I shot it and yeah, the entire music video I shot by myself, which means, you know, setting up the shot, making sure that the lighting was good, the camera was all the right settings, you know, in terms of depth of field that I was looking for, framing that I was looking for, lighting I was looking for. And then I would go into the shot and, you know, do the acting essentially. And then I would have to like run back to the camera and stop
look
it
at it
and check it to make sure and be like, oh man, the focus is like just like an inch too far away. And so I would have to gently adjust it and do it again and check it. So that was how most of the filming went. There was one shot actually where I was out by the water, by the Quabbin Reservoir, which bears significance to me in the buried memories, of course, where I was skipping a rock, and actually my dear friend Ben Porter was actually the one who skipped the rock for the take. We kept going back and forth tossing rocks because it was a very close-up shot. If you'd go out and watch the music video, please do, where I'm trying to get like this skip just right across like the right from corner to corner, right across the center of the frame, and like we nailed it. But that's really hard because it was very zoomed in, so we were going back and forth skipping it. So he helped me with that, and then there was one shot that he helped me with where he stood in just for me to get the focus of. So I put the focus on him, and then he got out of the shot. I hit record and then went into it. But aside from those two things, the rest of it was all one man production.
Oh.
Well, my favorite thing about shots like that and things that you need to set up, because you want them to physically be perfect. You don't want to digitize it. You don't want to do editing magic. You want to capture it.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know if I know Rachel is. I don't know, Tyler, if you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the movie.
Okay, so this is terrible. I love comics. I love that filmmaker. I have not seen that film, but that's oh jeez, now I've forgotten his
That
name.
is your delight to participate in.
We were just talking
Edgar
about
Wright.
not Taxi Driver. Edgar Wright. Edgar
Baby
Wright.
Driver.
Baby Driver.
Yes.
Yeah, Edgar Wright, who I'm a big fan of his films. I've seen the Cornetto trilogy and I just feel the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy, is that what it's called?
The Cornetto trilogy.
Cornetto trilogy, right?
So anyway, those three films are so phenomenal. I think that he is one of the more brilliant editors of our time. Certainly in terms of comedic editing, he understands so well how to do that. Well, anyway, I forgot. So the reason
how we got here. So the reason I brought him up was because, and I'm sure Rachel has seen this. There's a scene in the movie where
I watch it every holiday season. It's one of my non-holiday movies.
Oh man,
there's a scene in the movie.
We'll have a party. Don't worry.
Cool.
There's a scene in the movie where Scott Pilgrim receives a package and he tosses it over his shoulder into the garbage pail, and it's the shot. Like he tosses it over his shoulder and it lands in the garbage pail without him looking.
Perfect.
There's a cut in the bloopers and on the bonus features of him actually attempting to do it, and it's something like maybe 50 or 100 tries. Like they cut it down, but like
oh god,
they show a supercut of all the tries until he eventually gets it. And there's just a freneticism in that moment because literally the scene happens. He tosses it goes in, and there's like a silence for a moment to get clear for editing, and then like everybody loses their minds. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's a celebration of these
imagine.
these kinds of created moments. And what you were talking about with those scenes you were trying to set up, like it reminded me of that kind of passion to filmmaking. This idea that you want to take something and do it right. And even though we can easily, almost everyone in our own home can digitize a ton of stuff, it's more satisfying to physically get the shot you want than having to make movie magic.
Yeah, totally. And I wanted it to be much, so it was very important to me to make this EP very pared down. I wanted it really intimate and really vulnerable. So I wanted the music video to kind of be the same way, like very, very simple, very basic. But I wanted to represent the natural beauty that is in Amherst. I have that place exists in my heart in such a special manner. But yeah, it was just important to me I didn't want anything to seem forced or like I was putting anything on because because I wasn't. This was just the song is just a very matter of fact, like this is how I feel and this is what I have to do in order to survive, to get on beyond this. And I wanted it to just feel very, just very, very, very clear in terms of its honesty. So you were talking about my my intention for it, or you used a different word.
Your vision.
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to include all of these things that were intensely personal to me, and I knew that literally no viewer, barring the girl herself that the song is about, could ever possibly understand everything in the video. There's literally not another person alive who could understand everything in the video. Right. And I felt okay with that, knowing that a lot of it isn't going to be understood, but I was hoping that the honesty and the depth of emotion would be felt. That was kind of my intention with the music video. I thought to myself, okay, no one is going to know the symbolism of this, and maybe some people will guess the symbolism of that, but like no one's going to know the exact meaning of all of this. But if the true emotion is understood or conveyed from me to the audience, then I'm hoping that they can insert their own, those very specific personal moments of theirs to attach to the same idea. We've all dealt with loss. We've all had to let people go out of our lives, whether it's for a relationship not working out or even death. We've all dealt with that in some manner or another. People, good friends moving away, anything. So I just wanted my emotion and my sincerity to come across, even if people didn't understand the very heartfelt specifics of what I was filming. Mm-hmm. I was hoping that they would understand the emotional connection and therefore be able to connect with it themselves and put in their own experience. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah. I'm very good at interviewing. I'll just go, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, it's cool.
I mean, in my long history of talking too much, I view the best interview is when you talk very little and the person you're interviewing does all the talking.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. See, sorry.
We finally crushed an interview.
That's
I
what
mean,
I want.
we as like a collective, you always crush interviews, Matt, but I feel like Screen Snark is, again, this is the best episode.
Oh my goodness. Twice?
Take that, Patrick. This one's the best one.
But
I
we'll let the
live
screen
here
beans
all day.
decide. Yeah, me too. I'm having a great time.
I encourage everyone listening, if you haven't had a chance, please go to Spotify and look up Buried Memories by Tyler Clayton Appel. Mm-hmm. I really dig the record. I think what I like about it, you're talking about how you really wanted it to feel kind of stripped down and personal. I'm not a stranger to singer-songwriters. A lot of my guests on Crash Chords have been singer-songwriters, and like a lot of my favorite instrumentalists are folks who are some version of indie singer-songwriter, and your EP is easily one of the best things I've heard in a while. And so,
Matt, thank you very much.
I really dig it, and I really encourage our listeners to go check it out. I think there's a lot to pull out of it and a lot to relate to in it.
Oh, wow. That really
now
means
I
a
have
lot
that.
to me.
Now I have that one
Matt
track
Storm.
where it's like, na 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 na.
Oh,
what
yeah.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a super heavy like rock track on there.
It's very.
Yeah.
It slaps.
Oscar Hogdahl on drums, Boris Pelek on some additional guitars and bass. So yeah, for all my Go-Go Bordello fans out there,
Nice.
check that out.
There it is. Ooh, I gotta rewatch Wrist Cutters. A love story.
Oh, such a good movie, Wrist Cutters.
It's so good. Anyway,
I
sorry.
don't know
That
this at
Such a
all.
forgotten movie too. Anyway,
we'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Go-Go Bordello's music is integral to the piece. We'll
yeah,
talk about it
okay,
off
yeah,
air.
yes.
yeah.
Don't worry. But yeah,
Thank you, Tyler, for being on the show.
Tyler, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Really a true delight to be here. I've been a fan of the show since
Thank you.
fairly early on, and
Very sweet.
Yeah, because
it's-
most of your friends have been on it.
and
I've
you
sort
know
of
what?
coerced
And
you into
they're
listening to it, being like,
all
Liz is here,
great.
and Austin,
They're all
and
great
Wally,
episodes. Yeah,
and
it's
John.
absolutely.
Devin.
You know, it's great to hear all of my friends on air, and also to hear all of your great talk about very interesting films and TV shows. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm
Oh,
enjoying.
stop it.
We're a fan.
I'll be tuning back in. So
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, though, we do have a final question for you. But before we get to that,
Yes.
we
Sure.
have some
Before
people
that.
to thank.
Thank you so much to John Presnell for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Remble.
Also, thank you to Katie Bug for our incredible show logo. Thank you so much. We can also be found on the Certain POV Network, who we thank in every episode for not firing us yet.
Yeah, thank you for keeping us here despite all odds.
they're
Despite
so good.
all
I love that
odds.
we've just painted ourselves as the underdog at the Certain Point of View Network. 'Cause
Even
we
though,
are.
I mean, we are, but also like all
We're the
of us
underdog.
are. Like
We're
you
all
know,
the underdogs.
We are.
That's great.
Everybody's an underdog.
Let's lift everybody
Certain
up.
point of view, everybody's an underdog.
underdog,
Lift
right?
an underdog up today.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. We have a Discord server.
Yep.
I look at it sometimes.
You can find the link to it on the website, certainpov.com. You can also find
Yeah.
a ton of other podcasts that Rachel and I have guested on and also love listening to.
All over the place. Oh, may I plug a
Yes,
thing
please
real
plug
quick?
away.
A former guest and friend of the podcast, Victor Devon, is currently doing a series called 2 Night Stay. I very recently was given the honor to read 4 parts of short stories concerning a Christmas Eve at the Gilman, a very spooky haunted hotel. Episode 1 is available now, and I'm in process of recording episode 3. So go check it out. Support another underdog, Victor Devon.
Yeah.
There you go. Also, Matt has been on it as well.
I've been on it. I've engineered some of the episodes. It's a blast. If you want a really cool fiction podcast that also isn't straight up storytelling like a lot of the ones are now, that is kind of giving you lore and giving you insights and short stories. Also, the voice cast is phenomenal. Highlights
good.
from across the New York theater and burlesque scene and beyond. Definitely go check it out. Other previous guests like Jeff Moonen, who does shows on Certain POV, has been on it. Sarah Moonen, his partner, has been on it. Maggie McMuffin and Mary Sin, future guests of this show, I hope, have been on it. Like tons of other people that I'm forgetting to mention by name. Definitely
A
go
cavalcade
listen to it.
of incredible casting and really
It's phenomenal writing. Victor does a great job.
ingenuitive storytelling, I would say. Like
Yeah.
you're given something so interesting, like having read 3 episodes of this 4-part structure. Like I can't believe that someone this creative is just like churning out stuff just like all the time. Like Victor is just crushing it. But yeah, go check that out. Go check out 2 Night Stay everywhere you get your podcasts for sure. That was my plug. Haha, did it. Tyler, do you have any other plugs before I ask you this final question?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say.
What's your soch?
Oh yeah, follow me online. It's just my name. So at Tyler Clayton Appel. That's TYLERCLAYTONAPPEL. It's like Apple, but you switch the last 2. It's an easy way to remember.
The fancy way.
Anyway,
the fanciest of apples.
Yes, Appel. Yes,
Appel.
of course. So you can follow me there on Instagram or on Facebook. Also on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. You can watch that music video for Buried Memories. You can listen to the Buried Memories EP wherever you listen to music. yeah, I just hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy it.
Amazing.
Excellent.
So Tyler,
Yes. Rachel.
in the world, many genres of storytelling are crafted, and in order to get across some ideas very quickly, some particular motifs have been utilized again and again and again, reaching a zenith in our cultural zeitgeist where we recognize them, and in a way they kind of take us out of the piece, even though they are very functional. We call these things tropes.
Yes.
Gotta love a trope. Tyler, if you could choose any trope from film and television story making to instantly become true in your life for your benefit or your enemy's detriment, I've heard it both ways, what trope would you choose?
My goodness, what a question.
I know, it's my favorite question.
I love it.
Every time I'm just like, where to get to that question?
Trope that...
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I don't think that I have any sort of good answer for this whatsoever. However,
Then pick a bad one. We're not afraid.
Yeah, let's see. What are tropes? I don't know. How about you know, I don't know. I want something good to happen to someone who's in a rough place. That's what I choose. So what's a trope for that? Someone, the person who's down on their luck, who suddenly generally through a magic sort of, like a wish or something, their whole life like flips around.
You want a blank check.
Yeah, blank check. Yo, I love blank check. Oh, shout out to my mom. shout out to mom.
Tyler's
mom, I'd
mom.
love to work with you. No, my mom. We used to watch Blank Check a
stroke
lot.
of luck.
She'd call me Blank Check because I used to slick my hair back. I mean, those are olden days when my hair wasn't like down to my.
That's a good trope, though.
Down. Yeah.
Like someone who just needs a little bit of luck.
Yeah,
getting that little bit of luck.
That's the trope. That's the trope I'm wishing for. Doesn't need to be for me. Someone who's in a rough place, who gets a new lease on life. That's what I want. This isn't a trope. I've completely not answered your question, but
no, it's definitely a trope. Like somebody finding a lucky penny.
I'm going into a different thing.
Serendipity.
Yeah.
It's that's cinematic shorthand.
I
this
want
flipped for you.
Yeah, I want one or millions of people who are feeling a little down,
Trading
a little out
places.
Of it. I just want people to get a little flip on their perspective. You know,
Hopefully
maybe.
at the cost of a rich person. Fuck you, rich people.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, where's
Trading
the Robin Hood?
places.
You know, where's our modern day Robin Hood? Real serious. Who is it? Where are they? We're ready.
We're asking the big questions here on screen.
We're asking the big questions here, for real. I like that trope, though.
Yeah.
You're the first person who's gone, like, truly altruistic with their trope. Where it's like, I want someone.
I want someone who's
somewhere.
not me.
I'm feeling
awesome.
great
To
right now.
benefit.
You know, like of course
You're coming off that Terrence Malick high.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly. There's ups and downs everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like look at that guy who is still able to do good in the face of certain horrible existence, you know? Like and that's the thing. Like we can all find there's always the beauty everywhere. It's hiding all around us. You just got to like stop and take a breath. So find the beauty and act on it. Enjoy your time while you're around and spread joy and love to others.
Yeah.
Make
also,
people smile and laugh.
Hey, everybody listening, just take a moment right here with us, chilling, whatever speed you're listening to this in. Just take a deep breath in.
Yes.
And let it out.
Excellent. Good stuff.
And let's do that one more time. Just a deep breath in.
Yeah, sure.
And let it out. Courage on your journey going forward. Today, as you're done listening to Screen Snark, a dumb show about dumb movies.
Whenever you're listening to it, whether it's at night or during the day, I still will never forget that when Paul F. Tompkins first started podcasting, he used to say it's nighttime on the internet at the start of his show, and he used to get shit all the time. Like, I'm not listening to this at night. And he's like,
Yeah.
dude.
man.
But honestly,
Like if you're not taking Paul F. Tompkins, something he says as a joke, I think that you're running into an immediate roadblock.
yeah.
Right,
Also,
exactly.
Enjoying that man's
important thing to
beautiful
know about
performance.
recording. Nighttime's a better time to record anyway because like the sounds of the world are a little quieter because people
Yep.
are home. They're chilling. Like if you're gonna do a recorded thing, do it at night because listen to this quiet.
Exactly.
I'm in Astoria, Queens right now, and it is
Beautiful.
beautifully
Shout out to Astoria,
quiet.
Queens. I'd love
Shout
to
out
work with you.
Astoria. I'd love to work with you, but you gotta stop fucking being so expensive sometimes. Damn, Astoria.
We got real. I
The
think
real
that's.
Sundera of boroughs.
I think
of
this is
villages.
a good time to rein it in and wrap it up as we are getting
Sure, all right.
way.
Let's go
All right,
away.
folks. Too real.
They've got movies to watch. They've got
Yeah.
TV shows to watch. All right, Screen Beans.
Thank you so much to my co-host Rachel Quirky Shank.
Thank you so much to my co-host Matt, aka Stormageddon. Thank you to our guest Tyler Clayton Appel.
Thank you
Jesus,
both
we
so
all have so many
much. Thank you
names.
so
I
much.
can't.
Too
We
much
have to come
name.
back with less names.
So
Too many
much
names.
less names. Too many names
Too many
on the dance
names.
floor.
Too many names.
Thank you, of course, to you, listener, for listening and
Thank you,
continuing to
listener.
listen
with
into
the
new
one
year.
name. Thank you. With your one listener.
With your one name.
Your one singular name.
We love doing this nonsense for you.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to do the show and have it come out to your ears every 2 weeks. We will see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Metal to magnet, she will be mine.
What?
I think that you're cool at least once every 10 seconds I'm hanging out with you. So I feel like you hopefully feel that way too.
Can you say that one more time just so I can keep it as an audio clip forever?
Sure. When I'm hanging out with you, Rachel Shank, I think at least once every 10 seconds, wow, Rachel is super cool. And yeah, this is Tyler Clayton Appel, full name. Here you go. This is how I feel. I would bet that I would feel that way forever. So no matter when this is in the future Rachel, hope you're doing well.
Wow.
Sending you all the love. I'm sure you're still super badass and
It's
awesome.
amazing.
There you
Wow.
go.
I can't believe that.
There you have it.